there, I'm Becky.
And I'm Lindsay.
And we finally hit record on our candid conversations around conscious parenting.
We're here to talk about all of it.
Ugly parts included.
And share our raw experiences and imperfect insights as we're doing parenting.
Pretty conscious.
In this episode, we're responding with our thoughts on some conscious parenting hot takes. We'll rapid fire dig into the nuance and real life applications. If you want to skip trinkets, start at 24 minutes. And in case you're new here, Becky is mom to E, who's 4 years old. Lindsay is mom to Big Henry, Middle Henry, and Little Henry, who are 6, 4, and 1, respectively. Let's dive in.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I was a little later getting here.
It's okay.
Because my trinket for today is that E and one of the kiddos that I watch were playing. And they were playing this game that was really fun that I was involved in. And it was like, okay, get out of the room. And we're going to go. And like E hid her little friend underneath the blanket, and then I went in and just like pretended like I didn't know where he was and was just like, oh, this pillow looks really comfy, as she like served me pretend tea and like giggle, and then okay, get out. We did it a bunch of times, and then they were like, okay, we're gonna do it again, and then it was longer and longer and longer until E came out to get me, and then she came out and was like, we're not ready yet, and then ran back into the room, and then they were quiet again. And it was right when their mom was picking them up. And so I was like, I'm feeling a little nervous about how quiet it is back there. I'm going to go check on things. And I opened the door and both of them were like, ah! And the little boy jumps up on the bed. He's just about 5 and he's 4.5 now, just for context for people. But he is like, look at the window, and he opens the curtain.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, what is that? There's like the window's all fogged up. And I was like, oh, were they just like breathing on the window? And like, no. Then they point to the bottle of Aquaphor on the bedside table. And then I'm like, okay, so it's on the window. Is it anywhere else? And E has a wallpapered wall in her room.
Oh no, the wallpapered wall. No.
And they point to the wallpapered wall, and like, sure enough, I like wipe my hand on it, and they used half a big bottle of Aquaphor.
Oh my god.
All over the walls. And so I was like, I had a feeling something was going on in here. Yeah. Okay, well, we're gonna get it figured out. And so I was sort of able to just like, I was like, thanks so much for telling me, you guys. Like, I really appreciate it. This is like, we can fix this.
Yeah.
And then, so it ended up being that they left, which ended up being the better situation at that point, just because of like the energy, and they had somewhere to be, so it worked out. And then I was like, all right, let's go clean it up. And E was like, okay, what do I need? And went and got paper towels with me, and we were trying like a Myers like spray soap at first, and that wasn't working. So I'm like, Tyler, look up on your phone. How do you get Aquaphor off of walls? And because most people who are listening in are parents, you will not be shocked to learn that there was plenty Reddit threads about kids who rubbed Aquaphor all over things and how to get it out.
I was gonna say, the boys have Aquaphor in their room before as well.
It's so slippery.
We had the tub.
Oh yeah.
Which is better for scooping.
It really is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I had the same when you were talking about the like, like the touching it.
Oh yeah.
like, yep, sure is. There too. And it was just like their whole, and it was an Easter egg hunt because there was Aquaphor in their room. There were secret spots I had not found months later. Oh, no. So hopefully for you, that's not the case, but it was like they were expanded. Thorough. Yeah, they'd really explored all their options for where they could put it. Yeah. At the point. So, but
yeah. Yeah, and it was just like one of those things that if I had lower capacity would have been so much harder to just like roll with.
Yeah.
but because today I had the capacity for that and like could keep my, my brain online, it was sort of just like, okay, this actually isn't that big of a deal. And
Yeah.
even if the wallpaper is ruined, it's not worth ruining my relationship over. Like I was able to keep all of that in mind,
Yeah.
and the wallpaper was fine. So,
Yeah, well, that's good.
yeah,
Wow.
it was good. So we were able to be like, oh yeah, like this isn't really what Aquaphor is used for. If we're needing to like do big things with our hands
Yeah.
and smearing, or if we're wanting to play some fireworks games, like no worries at all. We can definitely make that happen. But
Yeah.
this isn't
Yeah.
it. And she was like, yeah,
Had
you're
a
right.
feeling. That's
I'm
so funny.
sorry.
Gosh.
But yeah, so that's why I was a little bit later getting over here.
Hey, I'm glad that you were able to like take care of it then, and you
Yeah.
can go back to a house that's not Aquafort.
And slide it.
You go to open the windows, you're
Oh, what I didn't clean that I'm like remembering now
Oh,
is
boy.
the door handle.
Oh my gosh.
Because both of them, their hands were covered.
Yeah.
And then they would like touch the door. So
Yeah.
I'm just remembering that. So it'll be a nice surprise later tonight.
Hopefully not for Tyler.
I know. maybe he'll be the one that
Yeah.
notices it and cleans it up. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll report back to you.
Sounds great.
Anyways, what's your trinket?
I wanted to follow up on the last trinket, which was the dentist appointment that's coming.
Yes.
But it's also very tied, and we were talking about last time that it was tied. I was having very similar feelings about that and about my kids starting school, my oldest. And my feelings of like, there's so much that's out of my control, and all we can do is like see what happens, and
Yeah.
there's just so much we'll see.
Yeah.
And boy, have we! But we're working through things.
Yeah.
The dentist appointment was really interesting because Big Henry, like, it went smooth like butter. And he just hopped up on the chair and he was happy as could be. And he was like, yeah, that was totally fun. I'm looking forward to it next time. And Middle
So
Henry was like halfway to, like, he's ready for the big chair next time. This time he went, like, we met with the dentist who, because I had put in the note that I was not going to be holding anybody down, he was like, let's just see what we can do. Let's have him sit. And, like, they took him into the baby room.
Yeah.
How they call it. And they have, like, a ped board where they can, like, lay the kids down in their lap, whatever. But he ended up just doing it, like, sitting up. And he was willing to open his mouth and let him do what they needed to do.
Yeah.
But he was also, like, pretending to be asleep. You know?
Yeah.
So, and then baby did how babies do.
At the dentist.
Yeah. But I had really challenging feelings because, and this is also true with school, because my partner was, the way that they had it set, when you do 3 appointments at the same time, they had it like they were going to be getting their appointments done at the same time. And so my partner ended up going with me kind of last minute, decided to hop in the car and go, and then stayed with Big Henry out in the big kid area while I took the little ones into the baby room. And so he was there and present while Big Henry was thriving at the dentist for the first time. And it was really hard because I was like so happy for Big Henry that was his experience.
Totally.
And also so frustrated because, not at Big Henry, but just because a lot of the feedback that I get from my partner is that I'm doing so much extra to support the kids the way that I do, and that I'm doing so much unnecessary stuff that is deemed unnecessary, at least in part, sometimes when we're having these conversations. And so it was really hard to have him get to have that experience and be there. And for one, I missed out on the first time that he's like at the dentist, and I just get to see all of what I view as like all of, in part, just his development and his growth, and that's amazing, and I delight in that. And also, I would like to think that some of what I've done up to this point has supported him into feeling confident without suppressing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like truly confident, not just performing confidence, going
Yeah.
in and doing it.
So that he could, be the
Yeah.
big boy or whatever. Like I
Right.
know you said that
Yeah.
happened at the dentist in the past.
Yes. So, yeah, hard feelings. And then it
Mhm.
just feels like, this is like deeply personal.
Yeah.
But it feels important because I think I'm far from the only person who is parenting this way, or just parenting period, who doesn't feel like their partner is necessarily seeing the value of what they are putting so much effort into.
Yeah.
And the same kind of thing has been going on with school.
Mm-hmm.
Big Henry started school and it's gone smooth like butter. For from the outside looking in,
Mm-hmm.
he launched and he is happy making friends, and he went in with no worries and totally confident, and yeah, it's just also there feeling like, okay,
Yeah.
and Dad's doing all the fun parts, and that's fantastic. I'm so happy that it's going so well for him.
Yeah.
And I'm still the one who's literally got spit at while doing homework. Direct shot into my mouth. Because Big Henry is so dysregulated when he comes home.
Yeah.
That all throughout the day he's such a good listener, and he's the best listener in his class, and he's helping the kids who are struggling, and he's and that's all cool. I don't even know. I have such mixed feelings about the whole thing anyways, but it's definitely what my partner would hope for is happening throughout the day, and what the teacher would hope for is happening throughout the day. But I'm just sitting over here and everything's falling apart when he gets home, and he's letting his guard down, and he's letting it down with me because of reasons, because of all of the effort and the safety that is in our relationship. And it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
It really hurts, and it sucks. It's one of those moments where it just sucks to feel like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been putting pressure on myself to check all the boxes, get him to school on time every morning, which is already all of the legwork to do things quote right. And I made the decision last night. I'm not going to let this become the whole episode. We might have the next episode be a car chat about school, but I will contain this. And yeah, I just made the decision last night that nothing school related is something that I'm willing to sacrifice my quality of relationship with Big Henry for.
Yeah.
If we're going to be late, that's fine. That's part of the fallout. I told my partner that we would try it, and if he was thriving, fantastic, and if he was not thriving, we would make a change.
Yeah.
And so I'm not gonna try and put a Band-Aid on every hole, on every scrape, on every scratch.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna let my kid struggle so hard for something that we don't have to do.
Yeah.
It's a very privileged spot to be in, but we have the ability to choose a different route for him that he could be thriving in. Mm-hmm. And so, it's not a complete thought. Yeah. But, ugh.
Yeah.
Can I share one thing?
Yes,
that was
please.
Really, really cool.
Yeah. Please.
So he's about the whole school thing, which is a complicated, dynamic feelings territory for me, especially in this, whatever.
I know all the subtext, and we'll get into it if you want to in a later episode, car chat.
But he came out from school today, and he's made friends with this kid who 3 days ago slapped a kid, which is just, it's just so first grade. It's so hard. It's such a big thing. And so he comes out and he's like, oh yeah, my friend slapped a kid today. Or he wasn't even saying my friend yet. Okay. He was just that kid's name. Yeah. X slapped a kid just now. Came out and we were talking. And then all of a sudden X is climbing a tree. And Teo loves to climb trees right after. And so he goes, hey, I'm gonna go talk to X real quick. And so he climbs up a tree and he's having some kind of chat. And I see the face that he puts on when he's like teaching middle Henry something.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm wondering what's going on there. But I'm just like giving him lots of space. He's told us that he feels very overwhelmed by like a bunch of questions right after school. So I'm giving him lots of space to just like come to me with stuff and modeling like, hey, do you want to know about our day? Yeah. And then when he feels ready, then maybe he'll start offering things about his day. But goes up to talk to this kid in the tree. A few days have passed. We've been noticing that they're like buddy after school. And so today he finally started offering something about it. And he's like, you know, X is one of the kids who has the hardest time in class listening and following instructions. You might call him a bad student.
Just like hear the quotation marks in his voice. Yes. Like,
yes. And Big Henry keeps coming home telling us how he's being like such a good student, you know? And he says, but Mom, I think I'm one of the kindest kids at my school because all of the kids who are like the bad students, I'm totally happy to give them another chance, another opportunity to still be their friend. And and he went on, but I was just like, I just felt like, it just felt really nice to hear that he is embodying so much the value that, the values that we are rooted in our family. And it's probably really nice for him because I think sometimes in our family, he looks at himself the same way that he's viewing the bad students. Yeah. Because we have some challenging behaviors and things are, you know, tense at times, a lot of tricky moments, whatever. And so it's nice to see the, like, keep coming backness in him, but also paired with discernment. Because he is saying, like, and if he ever hits me, that's going to be a different conversation. You know? Yeah. But
it's like those moments where you start to see the things that you've worked so hard to offer your children, and when they start to freely offer that to other people, and that like understanding of like inherent goodness and like the no wrongness bit, and understanding that there's more than just the like surface level behavior, and a first grader can do this. That's so cool. That's so cool.
And he told me that his talk in the tree was about what had happened, the slap. And that he was like trying to check in with him to see like, hey, do you have a plan to try and repair? It's just like, I could help you come up with ideas for how to repair.
That's like that. The kid. Have you watched the show Sex Education on Netflix?
Oh yeah.
The kid whose mom is a sex therapist, and he becomes the like sex therapist for high schoolers. And it's like Big Henry's mom knows so much about like parenting and relationship and relating and repair. So now he is climbing trees and offering that to kids.
So cool.
It's so cool.
It's like, as I was, especially it hit me in high school, that like the thought for my parents, in my mind, it was, at a certain point, don't you have to trust your own parenting of me and let me go out and like see what happens? See how your parenting stands up? And it feels like one of those moments of like, oh yeah, I can just sit back and rest in my parenting to some degree. And it's not, you know, it's not all me, certainly. But it's just, it was a moment of delight, and it just felt really affirming.
I was going to ask if it felt like affirming or validating to the parts that feel so frustrated at not being seen in the efforts.
Yeah, totally. And I think that there's just been so many emotions around that whole thing, just because there's definitely like, I don't know what part of it comes up in the partner dynamic, the co-parenting dynamic. Because it doesn't feel ego driven. It feels belonging driven. like, how do I not belong in my own family?
Yeah.
How am I somehow doing parenting wrong
Yeah.
in my own parenting dynamic? How am I?
Yeah. And it's something that you do have a special interest in. You do have a lot of knowledge. It's not like this is just your opinion of how you should do parenting. It's not like you're just parenting by default. There's so much intention.
There's just a lot of intention.
And thought and effort and and holding the whole picture. It's such like a holistic approach of like you're holding the whole thing. You're not holding the fact that like right now your kid is the one that's slapping somebody in class, or your kid is the one that's, you know, helping somebody come up with a plan to not slap somebody in class. That it's holding all of it outside of like just what's here.
And conscious parenting is so much about reflecting on your own stuff. And so it's like,
so yeah, it's all being.
Are we throwing the baby out at the bathwater? Because I'm the baby.
Please don't throw me out.
Yeah. Big fish. So let's contain it.
Okay.
But to be continued, maybe. Thank you for holding it with me.
Yeah.
When I got spit on.
Oh, that's so hard. Oh, God.
When I got spit in.
Yeah, not even on.
It was hard.
Really?
But I did no harm, dude. I did no harm. I did zero.
Heck yeah.
I froze.
Yep.
I said, I need a minute. And I went upstairs and I cried.
Yeah.
Into the bed.
And
I emerged and we finished the homework. And we'll talk about it when I'm regulated. Yeah. And I'm not regulated about that yet.
Yeah.
And it's been 24 hours. So
it's okay. Yesterday.
Yeah. I can give it even more time.
Yeah.
When I was supposed to be hanging out with you instead. All right. That was a joke, by the way.
No, I know. Okay. I got
really, actually, totally fine. Okay. I'm going to pitch to you to lead the topic.
Yeah.
That was a long trinket.
All good. And
hopefully valuable as we are all starting school. And,
a lot of people getting into this new routine and new school year. And I think that...
Share with us. How's it going?
Yeah. I know. I would love to hear. And I'm sure we'll
incorporate it in a school episode.
Yeah.
If you want.
For sure. Or not, if that feels too vulnerable. And you can just reach out to just us and we won't say anything about it to anybody. Either way is totally fine. So as I was driving over here, we had like a couple ideas for topics. But as I was driving over here, I had this idea of like, what if we just go through a list of like hot takes about conscious parenting or respectful parenting, or, you know, I know that like mostly we talk about conscious parenting.
Yeah.
But it could include other things with like the non-coercion or whatever. And so I go online and I look up a list of hot takes on conscious parenting and like kind of those things that are like, what does this actually look like in practice? Because a lot of them, like what I was finding, were things that you see on like Instagram posts where it feels really fluffy and it's like, do we actually and like, do we actually do this? What does this look like? Why do we do it? Where is there nuance? And I thought it might be kind of fun to just go through the list. There's like 15 to 20 different items and we'll see how many we hit. And if we end up talking for a long time about each one, then we can always circle back and do a part 2 to this episode at some point. So
I love that.
Could be fun. I just thought it would be kind of like a fun, fast pace, like throw some anecdotes in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Expectation setting. We're going for fast paced.
It doesn't have to be.
I'm ready.
No. It doesn't have to be. I'm happy to do whatever comes naturally from the conversation.
Let's start and see what happens.
Absolutely. Okay. We'll do the first one, which kind of ties back to something that you talked about in trinkets.
Great. Can we pause and I need to shake out my hips?
Yes.
Sorry. All of that school sharing. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm ready to begin.
Thanks for asking for it.
Yeah. That I just didn't.
Yeah, just like sit in the tension the whole time.
Flexed.
We can
for the rest of the session.
Pause and do it again if needed.
Great, thanks.
Okay, the first one, in quotes, good kids. are usually kids who have learned to suppress themselves.
So is that's the hot take?
That's the hot take. Do we agree with it? Do we not agree with it?
Good kids are the ones who
Are
have learned
usually
to
kids
suppress their
who have learned to
emotions.
suppress themselves. That compliance does not equal emotional health.
I think so much of it is temperament based,
Yes.
but generally I agree.
I
would say I usually, if I see a very compliant child, I'm like worried about them a little bit. Like I'm like a little bit, I can just find like sadness a little bit. And I think that there are some kids who are so wired for connection that they're just like happy to like stay in the cooperative space like a lot of the time, especially if there's not a lot of other conflict. Like I can see like only children potentially falling into that space more because I think that siblings add such a
different dynamic.
yeah. Yeah, I would say I generally agree.
Yeah, I think so too. And tying back to the nervous system stuff that we talked about last episode, that a lot of times that compliance comes from that place of fawn, which we determined you had looked it up.
Yeah, it's a sympathetic and a dorsal vagal response.
But presents
as a ventral vagal response. Yeah.
Yeah. And so a lot of that compliance that we see does come from that fawning, where there is that activation energy of the sympathetic and
but a separation from the self.
Yeah.
And from the inner experience, which is that, dorsal vagal component. And that is, I mean, that's what they're talking about. That's a suppression instinct. Yeah. And that's sad. Like that's
well,
sad. And I recognize it in my own kids because I have one who will go to fawn. Yeah. Like kind of quickly, like he's either pretending he's asleep,
he's either fully blue or
red he's blue. Trying to please and appease, and it makes me like it breaks my heart when he goes into that place. Yeah, and it's very counterintuitive in those moments to be like, oh crap, I gotta get him in touch with his anger to help him get back to ventral.
Yeah, and I think that's the part of this is it's like you said that sometimes they're like. Not every good kid is just like suppressed, right? Like suppressing their emotions or separated from themselves. But that when we have kids who are super compliant all the time, that it is a good reminder to stop and look at it critically. Well, and then also, it's so easy to fall into like well, this is easy. Do I break this? You know, like, do I want to break this? Yeah. No, I know. Yeah. And I think a lot about back when I was teaching too, like the kiddos who were sat there for a long time. And
I think a key part of it you said is like all the time. Because kids, I think it is totally within the realm of like healthy, I think that kids who are not emotionally suppressed or suppressing their authentic selves go through periods where, for whatever reason, they are like sticking the behavior, like kids at school, going out, following the expectations of what's going on in the classroom as they gain more impulse control and whatever. That's cool. They can stay, especially if they have some emotional regulation skills. Maybe they can stay regulated enough at the school to be able to like be compliant, but come home and release. But if you're keeping it together
too tender. Sorry, we need to shake again. But like that's really like what it is, though, right?
Home and released. He had contained during the day. And it's not that that's a bad skill.
It's actually a really important skill.
But he has an opportunity to release, and the reason he can release at home is because he feels safe at home. If he was doing that all day at school and then came home and was still compliant and whatever, I'd be concerned. I'd be concerned.
Yeah. Like, because then where is it going? And it has to go somewhere. That emotional energy has to go somewhere. And then in the body.
So, agree. And it's
Does that feel complete enough right now?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
I'm bored of this one.
Okay, let's do it.
I got activated.
I know. Let's move on.
Just a lot of fast breaths happening.
Timeouts are just socially acceptable isolation. They don't teach lessons, they just teach kids their emotions are not safe to share.
I think it comes down so much to the definition of a timeout.
That's what I was going to say too.
If it's something that we as the adults are just forcing upon our kids, like I'm thinking traditional timeout of like, hey, as your punishment, timeout as a form of punishment, you're going to go be alone
on the stairs
until you can be better. Be alone until you can be better. And the real problem I have with that is that like the unconditional nature of parental love and whatnot is like, I don't want them that. If you're okay with shame, then you're okay with timeouts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I don't want, because I know how corrosive shame is, that doing a timeout is just, I don't think you can do a timeout without having there be a component of shame, unless you're going from the place of, hey, do you need some time and space to cool down? Would it feel better for you to cool down in private? Or to, because I know some folks, I'm not going to name names. I know some folks will recommend that you just stay with them, even if they're telling you go away.
I didn't know where you were going, and now I know where you're going. Okay.
Some people will say stay with them.
Come to Substack for the super spicy article. All right, you can spill all the tea.
Great, sounds fun, and just my speed.
No promises on that, but could be fun.
So some folks will recommend that you stay with them because
even when
them
they're
saying go away is just evidence of their dysregulation. And I think that might be true for some kids. And I think there are plenty of people who
actually do
need some time and space, and that's actually helpful. And it feels more like it breaks down the trust in the relationship if you are disrespecting their wishes. Like sometimes the best thing I can do is give you the space that you're asking for and let you know I'm here and I'm available for connection whenever, as soon as you're ready for it. Unless I'm not.
Yeah.
And that's another place that the timeout is appropriate. Could be for me. Because if it's like, hey man, I need you to go to your room because I physically can't leave this space. And I'm really committed to doing no harm. And I need some time and space.
Yeah.
Can you go take a timeout?
Yeah.
But those things serve the relationship, and a traditional timeout does not serve the relationship.
No.
Unless what you're looking for is bullet point 1 of just compliance.
Yeah.
If a child who's compliant all the time is your relationship goals,
then use them. That sounded really judgy. And also, I understand that, like, if it's hitting your kids or timeout, like, obviously one is less corrosive, but what are we doing to then move further away? And if the timeout does feel so important to you, let's talk about why.
Yeah, and we talked about, they said it in the Jai Institute when I was going through the certification program, that there's a reason that when you're already in prison, the thing that they do to punish you is send you to solitary confinement.
Because there is nothing worse for a human.
Just to be forced to be alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so much in that. And so it's like, let's just not pretend that it's punishment light.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Yeah. It's just another flavor.
Yeah. And again, like, there's no judgment if that's the tool that you're using right now. But I think informed consent is important. Like knowing the impact that it, just because we're not yelling and screaming and hitting, there's still plenty of room for harm to be done.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is that like, oh, but I'm giving timeouts from a regulated place, then offer your kid that regulation because that's what they're
Sure.
needing. You know?
Yeah.
Um,
I got spanked as a kid from a regulated place.
yeah. Exactly. Which so
Period.
much to say there. We'll just contain that for another
everything.
time.
This is just a bunch of
Little boxes
Ziploc
that we can
containers.
open up another time. But yeah. Okay.
next. This the cadence of this episode is until we get too triggered. We'll talk about each one until we each get too
Until-
activated. One or the other gets too activated and Moon walks away from the topic.
Okay. I think this one's maybe a little lighter, but maybe not. Maybe not. Praise can be as manipulative as punishment. Good job can condition kids just like a reward system.
Yeah, this is the whole thing of like where I've said that it's just sneaky shame. Because,
That.
because it's just the implication that, you know, if we say, wow, you were so kind, it's just the implication that if they were not kind,
They would not be deserving of my delight and connection and
yeah.
yeah.
And this is a tricky one because I think that sometimes we hear like the don't attribute your kids.
Yeah.
You know? And then we go to the other direction where it's like then sterile and we don't give them any positive anything. And it's like, I think we've talked about this before, that it's really about authentic delight and just being intentional about how you phrase things.
Yeah. That if you're
Like-
good jobbing everything, then that's like one thing. But
Right. We don't want to rob them.
or if you're using the good job to manipulate behavior
Yeah.
is another one.
Yeah. We don't want to rob them of their intrinsic motivation and prioritizing their intrinsic motivation over the external.
Yeah.
And then also, like, that part, the manipulation piece is just yuck. Blah,
Yeah.
blah.
I know that like too, Carol Dweck has a bunch of research on like different kinds of praise and that more
Yeah.
general versus more pointed, and like she talks a lot about
Yeah.
the intrinsic, extrinsic, and Alfie Kohn obviously has a more like radical take
Yeah.
on praise, praise and rewards, which is like, yeah, don't ever do any. And the thing is that kind of like if we go back to our working definition of like what is working,
Yeah.
is it serving relationship? And if I am frozen and unable to connect with you because I'm trying not to say
Right.
like, good job, you did it.
Yeah.
I remember when you couldn't do that. That like that is not serving relationship anymore.
Right.
And what's the intention behind it actually
Exactly.
does matter. And then also notice the impact. If you're noticing that your kid is constantly searching for that good job or that praise, then that might be an indicator. Like some kids I think are more susceptible to
Totally.
praise than others.
Yeah.
Some need that reassurance. Some it's something that like they learn to need.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I think that one can be a bit more nuanced. And I think that overall, yes, I agree that like we don't want to use praise as manipulation, but saying like don't ever praise your kid.
Right.
I'm not a fan of that, like black and white.
Yeah, I'm not going to
binary
rob
thinking.
them of my warmth and my sincere explosive delight.
Yes.
You know, like
Yeah.
if I have an exclamation mark
Yeah.
of a, oh my God, whether it's because I'm so happy for you because that, yeah, I know you've been working on that, or, you know, wow, I am like, and I think that's how I'll do it a lot, is I'll shift it into what's the experience like for me to witness it, rather than saying you are this way
Yeah.
or good job or whatever as an authority.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll just be like, it was so cool for me to watch you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's definitely linguistic ways to avoid it altogether if that feels really important to you. But I would just say, don't rob them of that delight and the warmth and the excitement that you take in them and
Mhm.
witnessing them in their experience.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And just don't use it to
Yeah.
use it.
Especially don't use your quote unquote good kid.
Yeah.
Don't use praising your good kid to manipulate your quote unquote not good kid.
Yeah.
Which is something that as a teacher I did often.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
very common in schools.
Yeah.
Of like that's kind of
And
like the
even
basis
like
of
among
PBIS.
siblings,
And
it's
yeah,
like,
and
oh,
among
do
siblings.
more like Middle Henry, please.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Middle Henry, you're doing
Wow.
so amazing.
You put your shoes on so
Wow.
fast.
Some of us can get
and yeah, those kind of things. Like to me, that just brings up like, can we just speak directly? Like,
yeah.
There's so much safety in direct communication, and our kids feel that too, and that
Yeah.
also then starts feeling so bad for
Oh, yeah.
the quote unquote good kid who's getting praised.
Right. Yeah. Let's just not use each other, and let's not use something that is a tool for connection as a tool for compliance training.
Yeah. Behavior mod.
Yeah.
Okay.
Done.
Not too triggered.
No.
But feels complete.
I feel fine.
Great. Let's move on. Okay. Kids don't owe adults respect just because of their age. Respect should be mutual. I feel like we've talked about this so much, this idea of mutual respect and having that, like thinking back to our like core family values conversation and including kids in that. And I know the like definition that you've been playing with of respect and how we've brought that into so much of the conversations that we've had.
I think the big shift is like teaching respect by demanding respect versus teaching respect by modeling respect.
Yeah.
Feels like the big
And redefining respect.
Yeah.
So that it's not just the performance of respect.
Yeah. Because, I mean, when I got spit in my mouth,
That felt probably very disrespectful.
I felt mad disrespected, dude.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, like I was on fire instantaneously.
Yeah.
And I could have gone that route. And because we talk about relationship a lot, we talk about respect a lot when we're talking about relationship, the health of the relationship, because I feel like a relationship is one that is mutually respectful. And we also have to talk about realistic expectations when it comes to that, because was my kid spitting directly into my mouth a sign of disrespect? Was he signaling to me, I don't value you or your lived experience, and I'm not open to your influence ever?
Yeah.
No, he was dysregulated beyond belief, and he honestly got like, we were having a playful moment, and then he tried something that he's never done before, and had no idea what the outcome would be from a dysregulated place with no foresight at all.
Yeah.
And then that's what happened. That was the end of it.
Yeah.
I think he was as surprised about it as I was.
Yeah. Those moments are so interesting when our kids are surprised by their own actions. And if we're open to and willing to look at, like we talked about last time, just looking at things through, strip everything else away and look at what is this from a nervous system lens, what is actually happening here. And he wasn't online at all. That was just like body. Psh.
And if it was a sign of disrespect, he would not have been open to connecting once I took my break.
Yes.
And I came back. And if I had gone to the, you're going to respect me over everything else, you're going to respect me. Which, like, believe me, I wanted to go to that place. Doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
And it brings up it causes so many other moments where I felt more genuinely, like actively, with more intention, disrespected. Yeah. By my true definition. It called all of that in, sure. And, like, my commitment to, I am not gonna let the fallout from doing school things, I'm not going to sacrifice my relationship for that. And this, unfortunately, falls into that category. And people might look at that and see it as like permissive parenting. Dude, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But when we do, we're going to talk about it at a time where he can actually learn something about what I'm saying, where he can actually take in some kind of, and I can practically guarantee that he's going to come in with some self-reflection of his own that he has been processing over some time, because we've
modeled
been doing that
and
forever.
worked on it, and like there's been so much guided
he's been
self-reflection.
supported in, I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
But it's not permissive. It's just that I'm not putting me being respected above everything else.
Well, yeah, and like him performing respect for you, because it's not even
Right.
Yeah.
His true, genuine growth in the department of respect
Yeah.
would not be aided in me.
Yeah. And I just think about how like there's times that my parents, I think, still expect a performance of respect from us, their adult children.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily how it works.
That's not how it works in any other human relationship.
Yeah.
That exists when you have a hierarchy, where you have a structure of power that says that person A has authority over person B. And that so much seems to be embedded in the definition of respect. And that gets applied to parenting.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes from. It's because I'm the authority, even as to adults.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the authority, and so I deserve your respect.
Yep.
And even if it does not go the other direction. And it's like, especially by the time we're adults, but you can even bring this down to child years, infancy.
Yeah.
Respect is mutual. Respect is a two-way street. It does not apply. The power structure does not imply. It doesn't have to apply. It doesn't apply when you're peers with somebody.
Yeah.
Adult children and their parents.
And just deep relationship and deep connection. Like, mutual respect is a prerequisite for.
Yeah.
In order to actually be in like real, authentic connection with somebody, there does need to be a mutual respect.
Yeah.
And that's what I hope for when E is an adult.
Yeah.
And I am still her parent.
Yeah.
That like, I hope that the foundation of mutual respect that has started early, and God requires so much resistance to those default patterns of like, you need to respect me because I'm bigger than you, because I know more than you, because I actually don't know more than you. I actually am not like a better person because I've lived longer. That kids hold so much wisdom, and just
and we can
that, like, deep respect.
We can speak about the cognitive differences
Yes.
in adults and children. And I think that that's like delicate territory, obviously, but it's like you can also just like say, hey guys, I've got a brain that's matured a little more, and so I have access to this, this, and this that kids don't really have access to yet. So I'm gonna add in my 2 cents from that place, and I'm gonna honor the role of parent, these key functions, and I'm open to hearing your perspective, and I'm open to being influenced to some degree by it and under these circumstances, you know?
Well, and then it goes back to like spectrum of consent feels all very part of this of, you know, okay, I hear that like this thing that I am top downing is putting you into the enduring or tolerating space. And so like what adjustments could we potentially make? And I'm open to your input, and I'm open to the fact that this is detrimental for you, that in some way you do not like this for some reason in some way. And so either I'm going to try to make some adjustments, or I'm going to repair about that. And the repair doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, I made the wrong decision, but it's just that recognition and reconnection. Because I do respect you and your opinions.
And respect, genuine respect, isn't just doing what somebody else says. And that's so much of false equivalence. It's
Yeah, respect
not
and compliance are not.
No.
Respect is not compliance.
Right.
And compliance is not respect.
I'm having an active disagreement
Mm-hmm.
with somebody who I respect a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean that I'm going to change the way that I'm approaching things necessarily, or that they need to respect me. But it's like, yeah, being open to hearing what's true for you, and at least considering
Yeah.
if there's things that we can do that would be in greater support of what's important to one another.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just that consideration piece
Is
you
that
don't even have to change
yeah,
what you do.
exactly.
Just consider, just respect you enough to hear you out,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then go from there.
And like, yeah, believe you. Like
Yeah.
that, but like believing
Right.
them, trusting them
Yeah.
and their lived experience.
Let's move on.
Okay. Good. Okay. Not all tantrums need to be managed. They're healthy expressions of emotion, not behavior problems. Yes. Sometimes there's like the need for us to help our kids find the off ramp. Sometimes they get stuck. So in the quote unquote tantrum.
Can you read it again?
Sure.
It just was dense.
Yeah.
I just want to hear it again.
Not all tantrums need to be managed. They're healthy expressions of emotion, not behavior problems.
Yeah, I mean, what's the whole point? What's the managed part?
Yeah.
It's not even something we control.
I know.
I think we can and should support our kids when they're going through a nervous system meltdown
Yeah.
every time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to look
Yeah.
different every time. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's going to look like, yeah, I can just be here with you while you move through it. Manage just makes it seem like there's so much more power.
Yeah, that
And
we actually can
yeah.
control these things.
Like-
I think that so many people define temper tantrum in
Yeah.
quotes as something that the kid is doing to manipulate or get something that they want.
Yeah.
So if we take this idea of it's truly it's not necessarily people will often categorize meltdown versus tantrum. Have you seen this before?
Yeah.
Of, meltdown being nervous system.
Yeah.
Tantrum being behavior, quote unquote behavior, which is not something that I necessarily agree with, because there's a reason that behavior is happening, and that is worth looking at, and what is actually underneath that.
Right.
And so,
and I can see the distinction.
Yes.
I just don't think that the behavior part requires you to move into behaviorism. I would still approach it the exact same way I would approach a meltdown. If we're going to differentiate, that's fine. I just would approach a tantrum the exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
I would be looking at, something's causing it.
Yeah, it's this behavior as communication.
So what's under there?
There's
what's
some
under there?
There's
probably
some reason that you're doing this. If it's disappointment because you couldn't get the candy at the store, if we take just the traditional example, then cool, I can support that disappointment.
Yeah.
And not believe that it's not you manipulating me.
Yeah.
Even if you are trying to manipulate me, for the parents who are out there who are no, my kid is definitely manipulating me. Sure, even if they are manipulating you, let's talk about why. Yeah. Why are they feeling the need to do this? Yeah. What are they needing here?
And I wonder if part of that is people think that kids moving into a tantrum is to avoid a limit that's being set or avoid a boundary being set or something. But I think in my own parenting practice, it's usually inviting. When I set a boundary or a limit or holding a boundary or a limit, I'm usually inviting a meltdown, and that's okay. I actually am okay with the whole thing getting bigger. Yeah. Because that's what's true here. And you're allowed to have whatever feelings and you're actually, you can't not.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with you showing them to me.
Yeah.
But it's
uh-huh.
What's coming up for you?
Just how much this has been such a huge shift for me, and honestly, a tool that I have in parenting is I'm not just going around being how can I make my kid cry? But like I'll use the example of last year. We went to a wedding. It was out of town, and E was having a really hard time. And we opened up the amount of like room that she had, like wiggle room for things, where we were
Yeah.
saying yes to a lot more, because her having the meltdown or tantrum in that scenario was not
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But Tyler and I made eyes and talked throughout the day of like, and it's coming,
Yeah.
and we can be ready for that, and we can actually kind of potentially, sometimes it doesn't work, but we can maybe try to do it when we are in our hotel room. We can do it in the car.
Time it.
Yeah, of like choose when we start to bring those boundaries in,
Yeah.
and then allow that to then be their release.
Mhm.
And not as a way to like manipulate or control their behavior, but I feel like it's respectful to allow her to have the space for those really, really big emotions, not in the middle of a wedding ceremony.
Well, and it's the foresight of adulthood of like, I can't probably, for the best interest of my like job, I probably don't want to
Yeah.
release
In the middle of the workday, in my
the middle
meeting
of
with my
meeting
boss.
that is actively stressing me out
Yeah.
and whatever. Like, that's probably not the time that I'm gonna help the aggression scream into a pillow. And I can like, can I kick the can on this?
Yeah.
And that's auto regulation.
Yeah.
That's a skill. That's a beneficial adaptation that we have where we're kicking the can. We're maybe dissociating for a while
Yeah.
until we come to a place where we can kind of intentionally invite that dysregulation to come up again
Yeah.
and then actually move through it, because it wasn't safe to move through it earlier.
Yeah.
But now it is. And so I'll invite it because I'm
Yes.
not scared of it or avoiding it happening.
Yeah.
I know it's necessary to come all the way back down.
Yep.
I think we're just
yes.
doing that because PFC.
Yeah.
Because our kids can't
Yeah.
make those choices yet. So we're removing the burden of choice, and we're like trying to support them in that.
Into the place where then
Yeah.
they can, and providing that safety. And that's what's happening with Big Henry in
Yeah,
school.
that's exactly what
And
he's doing.
that's-
He's
yeah,
auto-regulating who knows at what point
Yeah.
throughout the day. And then coming home and releasing.
Yeah. And it is so important for our kids to have that release.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we just end up so edgy. We're
Yeah.
just like, I know that I've had times where I've been like, E has not cried in a week, and I can feel it.
When you
What
can
is
feel
happening?
a storm coming
Yeah.
in, why are my joints achy all of a sudden?
Like, why is everything feeling so on edge right now?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, okay, so then like what can we do? And it's like, oh, I've realized that I've maybe slipped into like fearing this, like subconsciously fearing that tantrum or not wanting to deal with it. So I've been kicking the can.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, actually I can just like sturdy myself,
Yeah.
anchor myself, and then invite it, and invite all of it, even if it's about the fact that her block tower fell over, but it's actually about every single other thing that's happened in the week that she has not been able to release.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, agreed. And just, coming back to like the tantrum part, I don't think that that's ever not worthy of our attention, even if you categorize it as manipulation. If we truly take the conscious parenting lens on behavior, which is that it's every person's behavior is every person's best attempt at getting their needs met, then okay, so a quote manipulative tantrum is still worth my attention because they're trying to get a need met.
Yeah.
What's the need? No, I'm not gonna sign off on anybody just like. Actually, for this one, go back to behaviorism because there's an air of quote manipulation to it.
No, and then it's like, see timeouts.
Yeah.
Like, see our conversation on timeouts 3 minutes ago. That, like, we're not going to move into
3.
isolation.
That was generous. It's been a while.
It has 30.
That was funny.
Like, we're not going to isolate or ignore.
Yeah.
That ignoring the behavior is not honoring the fact that, like, are they looking for fireworks? Then give them the fireworks, but give it over something that feels fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe one more?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really hard. I'm finding it really hard to gauge what amount of time has passed.
Yeah, I think we're
with
getting
this kind
close to an hour
Cool.
total. So we've got,
Oh,
maybe
wow.
one more.
I talked a long time, didn't I?
That's
for
okay.
trinkets?
I don't know how long that was, but I know that we started about an hour ago. So
Okay, cool.
okay. Forcing apologies teaches lying, not empathy. Real repair comes from modeling and guiding. Straightforward, yeah.
Emphatically agree.
Yeah,
It's the performance of versus what's true. And if you're really interested in the performance of, probably don't conscious parent.
yeah,
Just kidding. You probably can find a way
yeah.
that allows for that to be a value. It's gonna be tricky though.
Yeah.
And it just makes me wonder. This is a totally tangential thought. But I wonder how much the need for the performance of goodness comes from the need for belonging. Like our need for our children to demonstrate goodness, perform goodness, comes from our need for belonging within the community, or our need for whatever else.
Yeah. That like feeling.
How much is it actually just like, I don't want to be embarrassed?
Yeah.
Because that's really uncomfortable.
So much of it.
How much of it is like, I just don't want to feel shame? That's so much of it. And when you think about the shame part, like actually sink into the shame part, it hurts, dude. It hurts. Our desire to avoid shame triggers and activation driving us to demand the performance of goodness from our kids. It's just absolutely copy and pasting from us to our kids. If you want your kids to not feel all of the shame that you're so afraid of feeling, you have to be willing to face it and allow your kids to not have that implanted in them in the first place. Of like, no, you have to be good. What if you don't have to be good? What if you just have to like do your best?
Yeah.
And your best is gonna look like slapping a kid one day and
climbing a tree and getting repair advice from a friend the next.
Yeah. And I think the repair piece is for circling back to what we're actually talking about.
Yeah.
But I think it's so much that is like a
Why am
performed
I?
apology, no value in that.
I think
to me.
that, yes. I'm like trying to think of like why would parents force apology, and I think that part of it is, and I think of this like with my own childhood with siblings, and then also just like in the classroom and things like that, and just from what I see out in the world. But being able to wrap up a scenario in a quick little bow without actually having to address what is done, that like it feels nice to be able to be like stamp, done, fixed it, over.
Right.
Whereas like a repair takes more than that. But then, yeah, I'll stop there and then I have more to say on like the lying piece. But it looked like you had something.
Well, yeah, it's what was I gonna say? I think it's almost entirely fear driven. Like concern that that you're not showing me that you know that what you did was wrong. Concern that other people are going to think that I'm doing nothing if I don't make you apologize right now. Here in the moment when it happened. That's what it seems like. I'm imagining like park interactions.
Yeah.
Where like some kid did something to another kid and like, no, you apologize right now. So that they know that you did something wrong.
Yeah. Or
it doesn't
but then also
help,
also it goes back to because that parent knows that there's another parent perceiving them. Right. Which then goes back to that like first thing that you were talking about like belonging and the goodness and the.
And then I'm trying to think of like in those moments because I've felt compelled and
Same.
I was raised in the same way to like, no, you apologize immediately. But why? I'm trying to like I'm so disconnected from this one. That's like why? Because we don't want people to think we're just letting it slide.
Yeah. I think there's a big fear of permissive parenting.
Yeah.
I know that's something that I faced having been raised with more authoritarian parenting, moving into conscious parenting,
Yeah.
is that there's this fear of permissive parenting.
And is it like the concern being that maybe they won't learn to take accountability for their
Yeah, I
actions?
think that there's
like
that
maybe they're
in
not
there.
owning personal
Yeah.
responsibility or understanding that they did harm. Is that the concern, that we're raising people who lack empathy?
I
That's a
think
better way to say
yeah.
it.
And then the conversation is around like, okay, how does empathy actually develop, and what are developmentally appropriate expectations around empathy?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Also, are the other kids actually even upset? Because 90% of the time that I see these forced apologies happening, the other kid has already moved on. Like, they're fine.
Like it actually was fine.
It was actually not. Like,
it was the
so
perception
comes
of
down-
bad from the parents, not from the
Yeah.
other kid.
So
But
it's
there
like-
isn't actually rupture in relationship or
like
rupture in.
My kid threw a rock generally in your kid's direction, but like nobody got hit, and we can like there was no harm done. Your kid didn't even notice it happened.
Yeah. So then
This is a fake scenario, but it's like, but
Yeah.
where was the rupture?
Yeah.
And I think that maybe is part of it. Is like, how are we defining rupture? Because if it's just social appropriateness. Dude, we can soften a lot, because guess what? Developmentally appropriate and socially appropriate, not the same thing. Hardly ever in
Yeah.
alignment. And why is it that way? Who knows?
I know. Well,
The
that's-
50s, I think,
Yeah.
is why.
And I love Dan Hodgen's quote that's like, don't let developmental issues become moral issues. And I think so much of like when we ask kids to apologize for things that are like the forced apology for like just developmental things that are happening,
Right.
that
I think you're right. I think it's the morality thing.
yeah.
I think people are concerned about, if my kid doesn't apologize, they're not going to develop morals. And guess what? That's not how it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we'll send a link to some morals development
Yeah.
resources.
Uh-huh.
Because that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And the more that we punish, it detracts from our children's ability to move through the developmental stages of morality.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as they're fixated on their concern about what's going to happen to them in a situation and like placating, which is all that saying sorry in that moment,
Yeah.
before it's developmentally appropriate, before they can actually access empathy, which most people are doing this like from
Yeah.
the jump,
Mm-hmm.
like forcing the apologies way before empathy comes
Kids
online.
can
And like
hardly
what,
even
3.5
say anything. Yeah.
is when we like start seeing
Like some glimmers of it.
of like, yeah, the potential for empathetic thinking. Sorry guys, we're raising a bunch of ego bubbles for a long while,
Yeah.
and that's just how it is. And I can apologize.
Mm-hmm.
I will apologize. I'm so sorry that happened. I'm so sorry that you got hit.
Yeah.
I'll help.
Uh-huh.
I'll help make it not happen again.
Yeah.
Oh, an apology from my 2-year-old is meaningless.
Yeah.
They don't feel any of that.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to impair their ability to feel that in a genuine and sincere way if I intervene now with some kind of like punishment by way of forcing you to do something
Yeah.
that does not feel authentic. Like I'm just
Uh-huh.
gonna start driving that little wedge between the ability for them to actually feel the guilt, the healthy guilt,
Yeah.
as it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm implanting this thing of like, oh no, here's the Band-Aid, here's how you fix it.
Yeah.
So if you say sorry, you don't have to feel anything.
Yeah.
Anything else that comes up, no, it's already gone and done. So it's like, I'm just setting you up for confusing narratives,
Yeah.
confusing inner narratives, like moving forward.
Yeah. I think especially with young kids
Yeah.
that saying like having our like being like, oh, you need to say sorry
Yeah.
absolves us of the effort of making sure it doesn't happen again. That places
Yeah.
that responsibility of it not happening again onto the kid, and then puts them in the like quote unquote wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think back to the rock throwing example.
Yeah.
Of, you know, it's not like I'm gonna let him keep throwing rocks right near your
Right.
kid. I am then gonna go over and help make adjustments. And
Yeah.
like that's, I think, yeah.
Because it wasn't moral, it wasn't coming from a morally wrong place.
No.
There was nothing malicious about it. it's a developmentally like normal lack of awareness
Yeah.
for whatever. And in fact, like stuff like that, it's like you're actually demonstrating that you don't have empathy because you can't even
think of
fathom
the
that
fact-
somebody else feels pain.
Yeah, like you can't
You
think
know,
of the
'cause you
fact
can't-
that the other person.
Somebody else, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really interesting.
Yeah.
And
The one part. Oh, go ahead.
we'll see if they converge.
Okay.
I'm thinking about the number of adults who I interact with who were raised in the same way that I was, who are offering me empty apologies. And I'm like, this is pointless. What are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
This has nothing in it that checks any of the boxes for quality repair. What my kid did in a tree
It does.
is the beginnings of like quality repair.
Yeah.
And you know, the timing of when that all happened. It's really cool because he gave him time and space. He wasn't asking him immediately. Like his way to encourage his classmate was not to, in the moment, hey, apologize.
Yeah.
It's kind of, yeah. Yeah.
I was similar vein of like because in the thing it said like apologies just like lead to lying, like more lying or whatever.
Oh, is that what it said?
I think so. Something along the
I didn't
lines
even-
of forcing apologies teaches lying, not empathy. And it takes it back to this idea of like being in trouble. The fear of getting in trouble
Yeah.
does, I feel like, increase, and not I feel like, there is research
Yeah.
that shows.
I was going to say, like, this is all morality research.
Yes.
Yeah.
that like punishments, being in trouble, do increase lying and
Deception.
and sneakiness and all of that. And so
And sometimes that just occurs out of curiosity, too.
yes, absolutely.
Not only.
And I'm thinking back to some of what we talked about in like our rupture and repair, and then talked about in that episode, is how you're like, at no point did I ever feel like you were in trouble. Like, it's not like, oh, I never wanted Becky to feel in trouble with me.
Yeah.
This is Becky talking for anybody who is confused by the fact that I just said that. Lindsay never said. Lindsay thought. Anyways, and yeah, like I did not feel in trouble, and that's not what it was about. And I think that was an even more clear path to authentic repair.
Yeah.
When it's not like, oh, one person is in trouble and they're doing it because they feel obligated to.
Right.
They're doing it because they actually genuinely
Yeah.
care to repair.
Yeah. But yeah, because you're centering the relationship. You're not centering the rupture.
Yeah.
Like, the repair part is clearing a barrier to connection. And when what happens when we just slap an apology on something? We're just trying to clear the rupture.
Yeah. Wrap a pretty bow and
we're
say
not.
we took care of it. But then our rug
Right.
gets really full. Some of us have swept many things under the rug with forced apologies. And yeah, then that becomes just such a huge barrier to true and authentic connection. And then the repair that is actually needed becomes so large that it feels really, really difficult.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of like long-standing
It's resentment.
relationships that I've had. Yeah.
Every time that you ask me to sweep something under the rug or to move on before it's done.
Or with the forced apology of just like, sorry, me.
I said sorry, so now you need to move on.
Yeah.
Because it comes with the pressure of, okay, well, they apologize. So, like, am I going to hold a grudge? Or, like,
Yeah.
that's a rupture focus, not a relationship focus, right? That I just need to move. I just need to clear the discomfort of the rupture. But every time that you ask me to do that, and I agree, it comes at a cost. It comes at a cost of resentment that is building over and over and over again. And I've felt that in my sibling relationships.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't even want, the apology makes me sick because I know you're just plotting when you're going to do it again and how you're going to be sneakier next time.
And that's that lying.
Yes. And yeah.
So yeah, no forced apologies.
No.
But modeling lots of repair.
Yeah.
and like holding our kids' hand through repair,
Yeah.
of like help guiding them to it and
Yeah.
through it in the time.
And this is such a great place for the adults, like as conscious parents. This was one of my biggest growth opportunities, was realizing, oh crap, I actually have to learn how to repair in a quality way. I actually have to move myself past just sorry blip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of which, you wrote that little ditty on repair.
How did it go?
Not a ditty, not a song. Sorry. You had written on Substack, not on the Pretty Conscious Substack, but on the
yeah,
Homegirl
I did
Substack,
write
and
that.
I was gonna turn that into a like.
Yes, I wrote it in like 10 minutes. I forgot
page
that
or
I
something or
forgot
other.
that it existed. I forgot that it happened.
Yeah.
You asked me to write a caption or like start
Something,
something, and then I was
it
like,
turned into
oh
an
no,
essay."
it's a whole paper. It's a whole
So-
little article.
We'll turn that into some sort of like
Yeah,
one pager or
cool.
2-pager graphic, and we can post that on our Substack
Great.
along with this episode, and that way people can come over and check us out on Substack. 'Cause,
Yeah.
we'd love to get the community going over there
Totally.
a bit more. So,
Fantastic.
and I think that what you wrote is a really helpful resource when you talk about like learning
What is
what
a quality
is
repair?
quality, real,
Yeah.
true repair, and with our kids, with ourselves, with our friends, with you know,
Yeah.
our partners. So
Totes. Totes.
totes. Question for the road does not necessarily feel pertinent in this episode unless there's like one thing that's lingering.
No.
We have plenty more, so we can do a part 2 to this at some point. So
Yeah, let us know if you liked it. If
Yeah.
you want us to do the rest of them.
I feel like it's kind of fun to just like
Yeah.
hit quickly on a bunch of topics, like high level topics, and then obviously every single one of these could be their own episode.
Yes, they
So
could.
if one sticks out to you, let us know and we'll do it. We'll do a whole episode on one of these.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Or if you have your own hot takes that you're curious about, it
Yeah,
could be fun.
that would be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything about conscious parenting that's like rubbed you the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
You want to hear us
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Cool. Love it.
All right.
Thanks, man, for coming in with the idea.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm glad that we did it and you flowed with it. So thanks for
Yeah,
being open to it. And
Totally.
you had no idea the different things I was going to read out.
I
So
didn't. But it's just the vibe
Surprise.
for tonight. So I was happy to have you driving, and
Cool.
I just show up and talk.
it was fun.
Great.
All right.
All right, bye,
Bye,
pals.
everyone.
Hey, we know time is hard to come by. Thanks for spending some of yours with us. And remember, you can always reach out. We're real people and we're interested in what's real for you too. Do you have questions or feedback? Anything you'd like to hear a chat on? Check the show notes for where to find us.